Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have a nail art tutorial to share with you, and it's on how I created these 3D bondage nails with marble and a goth feel to them. I was really pleased with how these turned out, so I thought I would share with you what I did. It was a few firsts with me creating my own 3D nail art from gel nail polish. So if you want to see how I completed this look, then just keep on watching. So as always, I will leave the products and everything I use linked in the description box below. I did use quite a few, so if you're interested in any of these products and I haven't mentioned them throughout the video, I will leave them all linked and where you could find them down below. And finally, since it's a long one, let's just jump right into the tutorial. So as always, the first step in good gel application is to prep the nails properly. And to start, we're going to take a buffer and lightly buff the nails so it's mattified. I'm then going to remove any dust and debris with a lint-free wipe and some nail surface cleanser. And then my next step is to apply the base coat, and the one I'm using today is the 2-in-1 base coat and top coat by Semilac. And then once I've applied that to all of the nails, I'm going to pop that into an LED light for 30 seconds, but if you have a UV lamp, it's going to be 2 minutes. So for the gel polishes, I'm going to be using IBD Black Lava, which is just a black gel polish, Indigo Nails Diabolos, which is a grey, and for the marble I will be using Ink London I54, which is just a white. I'm first going to start by painting the nails, and I'm going to paint the middle, the pinky and the thumb with the black gel polish, then the pointer and the ring with the grey gel polish. Then that goes into an LED light again for 30 seconds, and I'm going to speed through the process, but this is just me applying a second coat of each of the gels. Next, for the marble, I've just put a little bit of I54 by Ink London on my little palette, and I'm using a striping brush by Born Pretty Store, and I'm going to start by adding small veins. And I found the best way to work with a marble is to do it in stages, so I'm just basically like working on the base. So I'm going to add some small dots and some lines randomly over the nail, and then I'm going to take a slightly larger brush, and off to the side I have some alcohol and a little lint-free pad, and I'm just going to like diffuse the lines so it sort of gives it like the effect of smoke at the back. Then the next step would be to do the exact same, but to make the lines slightly smaller and diffuse them a little bit less. So you want to make these lines stand out a lot more than you did the bottom lines, because as I mentioned, the bottom is just slightly a smoky background, but this is where your marble is going to take effect. So we're not going to diffuse it as much as we did with the first layer. As you can see here, I'm lightly pressing it and allowing it to just sort of diffuse, but so you could still see where I put the lines. Then we're going to dry that marble for 30 seconds in an LED light, and then we're going to pop on the top coat for a smooth finish. I'm using the same base and top coat duo from Semilac as I did previously, and once I've finished adding the top coat to all nails, that goes back into the LED light. And now for the start of the bondage nail, I'm going to be using this Mermaid powder in black by Indigo Nails, and I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm going to pat the first layer into the inhibition layer, and once I've covered everything that was sticky, I'm just going to rub it in to bring the effect of the mermaid powder out. Then once I'm happy with the opacity of that mermaid powder, I'm just going to take my little glitter brush and give it a good rub, and that way it's not going to look so sugary at the top. Once again, I added a layer of top coat for a smooth finish and popped that into the LED light for 30 seconds. And again, I'm just going to take my nail surface cleanser and a lint-free wipe and remove the inhibition layer. So for the bondage nails, I went ahead and made this little bondage jewellery thing, and I used the Arte Brilliant gel. I put a couple of strips of that onto a little plastic bag, dried them under the LED light, and then cut it into 3 strips. I then attached the strips to the hollowed out stud using my NSI Polybond, and I basically just wrapped them around and held it until it was glued. Now I'm just going to basically do the same to glue it to the nail. I started with a nice liberal amount of the NSI Polybond into the middle of the nail and pressed the jewellery firmly. Once I was happy with how the jewellery sat on the nail, I trimmed it to size, and then I took some matte top coat and made it matte. And it was a bit of a nightmare to get it to attach to the nail. As you could see, I'm still sort of working with it, but I had to press it really firmly in a lot of places. I also held it, as you could see here, with nail clamps, just to make sure everything was really nice and secure and it didn't pop off. Now on to decorating the bondage jewellery. First up, I used matte top coat, and this is also by Semilac. I used a fine detail brush by Winstonia store, and I added the matte top coat just to where the black straps were. I then popped that into an LED light for 30 seconds to let that dry. Once that came out of the LED light, I used my nail surface cleanser and a lint-free wipe, and I wiped the leather straps just so the matte top coat came through. Then my next step was to decorate it, and to use that I just used some NSI Polybond, my crystal katana, and some of these gold studs that I picked up from Aliexpress. I added a slightly larger stud to the top of the leather straps and then a smaller one just below it. And at this point my camera cut off, but all I did was add some caviar beads going up, down each side towards the top strap. So now we move on to the ring finger, and for that I wanted to go with a more gothic style, and I used these water decals that I picked up from Aliexpress, and with these you just have to remove the protective film. Then you cut it up, the decal, to the size that you want, and I like to leave a little bit at the bottom so I can put my tweezers in it when it's going into the water. Then I just used a little ceramic tub that I use for my painting and some hot water from my kettle. Dip it into the water for about 10 seconds, remove it from the paper backing, and then I like to position it on the nail to leave it to sit for a few seconds. Allow that water to slightly absorb, and then I'm going to go ahead and just sort of like push all the wrinkles out of the nail. And again, once it's settled into the nail properly, I'm then going to take a cotton pad and remove any excess water before taking my scissors and trimming off any excess. Then once again I added the matte top coat to that nail and popped it into an LED light for 30 seconds before moving on to the ring finger. So the next step and the last step is to work on the ring finger, and I'm going to be using this stamping plate that I got from haranouta, and it's number L035. I'm also going to be stamping with this Arte Brilliant gel by Indigo nails, which stamps fantastic, by the way. So I'm going to take the rose design, which is sort of like a vine pattern, and I'm going to be using my clear jelly stamper as well. Now I found the best way to stamp with gel is to make sure you don't remove too much of the gel polish from the etching of the plate, and to work quite quick, because I did find that it got quite tacky because you weren't using as much of the gel polish, I think. And then once I was happy with that onto the nail, I went ahead and added, once again, the matte top coat by Semilac and popped that into an LED light for 30 seconds. So at the very last minute, guys, I decided I wasn't too happy with the way that water decal was sitting on that nail, so I decided to add a little bit of the Arte Brilliant gel in a sort of muted border going around the nail. And all I did was use my stippling brush that I picked up from Nail Artisan, and I went ahead and like just stippled on black all the way around the nail for a little bit of added dimension. And I just want to mention as well, on that water decal, I decided that I didn't like the red flowers, so I went ahead and added blue into where the rose was, so it matched the other nail. So here is what the design looked like when it was finished and on my nails. I was really happy with it. It's almost got that edgy, vampy type look to it. I love it, and I really hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions or you want to just know any technique about this, please ask me in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you did enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you want to see more, I upload a few times a week, so just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Bye!